Welcome to Be Intentional. I'm Oni Kirk, and we are glad that you're joining us today. Our last series, we were talking to you about watching and praying. Well, why do we need to watch and pray? Because in Ephesians 6:12, it says that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers and rulers of darkness and wickedness in high places. Wrestling is close contact. So if those spiritual forces are in operation and we are wrestling against them, but we don't know that they're in operation, nor do we discern what we're dealing with, then obviously we will lose the battle. But if we have been watching and standing guard and looking into the eternal realm as God opens things, we can prepare ourselves. Years ago, I would say about 21 years ago, my wife had been praying and she had a dream that night, and in that dream she was in the back of an ambulance. So the next day she went over on Harding Place and Nolensville Road, and a drunk driver hit her in our Suburban and knocked her off of the road up into a tree. She was 7 months pregnant at the time. When the ambulance came and she was put in the back of the ambulance, she recalled that the night before, during the watch, that God had shown her being in the back of an ambulance. Well, we prayed and God took care of her and took care of our daughter. Our daughter's 21 now, that daughter that she was carrying at that time. Since you're not wrestling against flesh and blood, it's important that you go into the spirit. Now, when you go into the spirit realm to do warfare, you need to put on the whole armor of God. And that's listed in Ephesians 6 as well. And it's something that you should do every day. I would encourage you, put on the helmet of salvation. That helps you bring every thought captive to the obedience of Christ. And it also allows the mind that was in Christ Jesus, which was an obedient mind, and a mind that was in relationship with his Father, to hear what to do and how to do it. It talks about the breastplate of righteousness, to guard your heart against fear, against anxiety, against frustration, against stress. So you guard your heart. It talks about the shield of faith, so you can quench those darts that the enemy would shoot at you, and the sword of the Spirit, so you can do effective warfare, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Put on the whole armor of God. Be intentional, because you do have enemies and they sit in high places. This has been Papa O, encouraging you to be intentional and pray.